In the news, should Comcast be allowed to merge with NBC? This is going to take regulatory approval in Washington. And in fact, it's even been the fodder of comedy TV with 30 Rock looking at this merger with its fictitious cable town. It's being talked about a lot. Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, has denounced it, saying this is horrible concentration of the media. What's really going on here? Now, I think the position by Bernie Sanders had a lot of merit back in the 90s, the 80s, 70s, when there were fewer and fewer media outlets, fewer and fewer media companies, and it really got to the point where about 5 companies were controlling the vast majority of media content the average person saw in a day, something like 95%. It was tremendous concentration. But is that where we are today? I don't think so. You look at what your media options are today. They are not concentrated. When I was a kid, you had 3 TV stations and 1 newspaper. That's pretty much what you had in every town. But nowadays, there's this little known invention called the internet, which means every newspaper in the world, every TV station, every media outlet in the world is available to you at your fingertips. So the whole concept of stopping big companies merging because somehow consumers have fewer choices, it's just completely ignorant of what is going on in the real world. Now, the other factor that's overlooked that's so different from mergers in the 90s. In the 90s you had, in the 80s you had huge media companies, TV networks, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, that were just so wildly profitable. They had the money to buy up more and more properties to become even more ridiculously profitable. Well, I hate to tell you, that's not the way the media world is anymore. It is one of the least profitable sectors there is. So this idea that you're eliminating competition by not having mergers, that doesn't work, because all media outlets have tremendous competition. People magazine, owned by Time, owned by Time Warner, they have competition from Perez Hilton. They have massive competition from PerezHilton.com. The New York Times has massive competition from the Drudge Report. Well, there aren't any big corporations that own Perez or Drudge. Those are small, one-person shops, completely independent. That's why this whole idea of we must fight the media merger, to me, is ridiculous. There is not a concentration of media outlets. There is more diversity than there's ever been in the history of mankind. There is not a problem with media companies becoming so concentrated and so profitable. They're actually unprofitable. If you don't believe me, what happened to you if you bought AOL stock the last 10 years or Time Warner stock the last 10 years? You haven't made any money. Bottom line comes down to this. If private sector businesses that are nowhere near monopolies want to buy themselves, sell themselves, merge, chances are it's not a very good decision anyway. Look at the AOL-Time Warner merger. But if they want to do it, I can think of no compelling public interest reason to not do so. I'm so sorry, Bernie Sanders. I think you're barking up the wrong tree here. I'm TJ Walker. For more tips, analysis of what's going on in the communications world, media world, come back here every day.